So today in Toilet Tower Defense, I will be testing, are the shiny units any good? I'm going to be taking a look at the Boss Toilet 5.0, the Samurai Cameraman, the Juggernaut TV Man, the Golden Skibidi, and the Titan Centurion Speakerman. I'm going to look at a bunch of different categories, like how easy are they to place, do they get stunned a lot, what is the DPS on them, and how many rounds can I get to in Endless. In general, I'm going to try to place all of them right in the center middle part of the map. That way it's kind of a fair battle. I'm also going to be doing Endless on 2x speed to kind of make it go quicker. And I'm also going to bring in 2 farming units to kind of help out. So here we go. We're about to start our first unit. And for our first unit, I decided to test the Juggernaut TV Man. So we'll see how the Juggernaut goes. In general, trying to place him, so I'm probably going to start off with him. He only costs 400 to place, so I did not bring a starter unit with me, so I'm just going to place him right away. I'll take a look around the map right now, see how easy he is to place. He is a very large unit. You can see he barely fits there. He's a little bit tricky to get in this corner. I couldn't really get him over there. Usually I can squeeze a couple of them in the center part and maybe 2 or 3 down here in this part. He's a little bit difficult to get along that side wall over there. If you do kind of angle him so he's facing vertically instead of where the position he's in right now, you can kind of squeeze him in. That's one of the key positions I like to do. But like I said, he's definitely a very large unit and he's kind of difficult to place. The overall damage he does as a shiny is 195,000 per second. And he does have a shield of 30, and I don't normally have a problem with him being stunned. That can certainly be a problem with a unit that does not have a shield. So he is actually a pretty cool unit overall, just visually to look at. One of the things that he does is when you've got him past roughly the 3rd or 4th upgrade, the one that costs 9,000, he will actually pick up a toilet and put it in his mouth, which kind of serves as a little bit of a stun, because as he's picked up that toilet off of the map, the toilet obviously isn't moving along the track. So he does, technically that's not considered a stun ability in what you look at him, but it does kind of stun at least 1 unit. So it looks like I'm getting kind of near the end right here. I am on round 124. I've been auto skipping the whole time, so I'm probably not going to get credit for 124 rounds because I do have 234 toilets out there. But overall, that's pretty good. He's the only unit I have on the map. I have 22 placements available in Endless, and it looks like I'm about to be done as soon as that crosses, and yeah. So I had 108 waves beaten with the Juggernaut TV Man. So not overall too bad. I had double coins on, so I got 4,000 coins. So not a great, a decent way to kind of farm if you're in Endless and you're looking for coins. I also got a decent amount of experience, but I also did have double experience on, and also I'm in a clan. So up next, we're going to try the Boss Toilet 5.0. You can see he does roughly 180,000 damage per second exactly. He also has ally health, which does 10 million damage. So we'll have to see how he works. So now I'll load into the game right here. Again, I'm going to do it on 2x speed. He only costs 600 to do the initial placement, so he's not someone I need to bring another starter unit for. So that is kind of helpful that you can place him pretty much right away in Endless mode, assuming you're at a level where your starting money is 400. But even if it isn't, you can auto skip and get there quickly. Kind of placing him on the map, he's really not that difficult to kind of place, so I'm going to start off by actually putting a starter unit down here. I'm not sure how, I'll just put him down as a starter. So kind of moving him around the map. He's kind of like a medium-sized unit. You can kind of see where he fits. I'll place him right there just to get started. Here's my end placement. I skipped ahead in the match. You can see I placed him all over the place. Again, he's not overly difficult, but he is kind of like a medium-sized unit. I am kind of running into trouble kind of a little bit earlier than I thought with him, so I'm only on wave 77, and it looks like I'm kind of starting to get in a little bit of trouble right here. Again, he does do spawner units, so you can see the toilets are spawning. One of the issues I had with him is I got a lot of lag. Because he's producing a massive amount of spawner units, it kind of caused a lot of lag in my game. So that's certainly, it wasn't something I was initially going to consider, but at least on my setup, my computer setup, and my internet, he did cause some lag. So it looks like I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble with the Boss 5.0. This is kind of disappointing. Looks like he's not going to last very long, and I made it to wave 69 and I am out. So overall, I mean, I didn't think he's a great unit. I have a feeling he's probably going to be, because I played with all these units before, I think he's going to be the worst units in this test. So kind of disappointing. He didn't get me very many waves actually cleared. Obviously I got to wave 80, but that was wave 80 with 200 and some toilets out there because he wasn't really clearing stuff. He didn't really have any kind of issues with being stunned. At least I didn't really see him get stunned a lot. But he does have a shield of 25, which is a pretty decent shield. So now let's check out the Titan Centurion Speakerman. Again, he's a pretty solid unit. He does 195,000 damage per second. He also does boss damage of 100%, so but you're almost getting really 400,000 damage on bosses. Of course, you don't get bosses every round, and I'm not totally sure what they mean by boss damage, but I believe it means that when you have a toilet that's specifically labeled as a boss, and it kind of gives you that health bar across the top of your screen. So even though as you get some higher rounds in Endless, you may get toilets who are bosses in other rounds. I think it needs to say boss above it. But he does do an extra, 100% damage, which is like having two of them out there. He also does piercing damage, so I'm going to kind of think about how I'm going to place him. With piercing damage, you almost kind of want to line it up so where he's on the track, he's basically kind of going to pierce right through people. So you can see the very first one I placed right there, I lined up along the track. As far as placement goes for him, again, he's another one of those medium-sized units. However, he is what I'm going to call stackable. So in other words, if you place them close together, you can line a whole bunch of them up in a row very, very close together. So he's not too difficult to place. He is like I said, he's kind of like that medium-sized unit. But again, right now, if you look in that center section, if I had him kind of going vertically, like in that position right now, I could have stacked a whole bunch of them in a row, going across left or right on the map. So he does fit in a bunch of places. You can also stack a whole bunch of them over here way on the left side of the map. He's only $400 for initial placement. So again, he's another unit where you wouldn't really need to have a starter unit. You can just start off right away with him. So let's switch over to the auto skip for him. I'll put some farming units down. So you can see my overall placement I went with him. In general, I put most of him in the center of the map, but you can see along some of the corners, I kind of lined him up so he would, since he has piercing, he'd be tacking down the entire row and hopefully piercing a whole bunch of toilets at once. He's a pretty decent overall unit to have. So it looks like right here I'm getting probably close to the end of how far he might make it. Oh, he looks pretty cool right. I think I can get farther. Obviously some toilets are coming. Does look like a pretty cool unit. Just kind of visually looking at him. So I'm going to skip ahead right now near to the end of the match. So I'm in round 125. I've got 205 toilets out there, so obviously I'm not going to get a credit for 120 some rounds. We'll have to see how many rounds I've actually cleared. But he's done a pretty good job. I mean, I've been auto skipping the whole entire time with him, and it looks like he got to round 117 before I ended up losing. So overall, pretty decent unit. He got me 117 rounds with only using him as a unit. So overall, basically not too bad. I kind of like him as a unit. And I do like the fact that he has that boss damage. I'm not totally sure about the placement that I did with him on this map. I mean, I think I could have done a better job placing him, so maybe I could have squeezed out a few more rounds. But I really wasn't totally sure how to line him up because he does do that piercing damage. All right, let's take a look at our next unit here. So we're going to be taking a look at the Golden Skibidi toilet. So the Golden Skibidi does cost $1,500. So you can see I'm bringing in the shield microphone as kind of a starter unit. I'll leave him in there for maybe a round or two, just enough to get me kind of going because he costs $1,500. I'm not going to be able to place him on the map right away, and I'll end up losing the match before I even get started. So that is kind of a thing about the Golden Skibidi unit, is that he is kind of expensive to put out there initially to kind of get him going. So slowly teleporting into this match. Hopefully getting this match a little bit quicker than this. Again, we'll have to see how he does. He is actually a unit in general that I like using because he has a whole bunch of special features that he does. Like he does splash damage with a blast range of roughly 15. He does do slowing of 60%. And he does have stun time. As far as placement of him goes, you can see I'm putting down my initial placement because, again, his cost of $1,500. I wouldn't be able to get him down in time. He's extremely easy to place, so you can see my placement right there. I was able to easily fit all of them right in the center of the map. I could have fit a whole bunch of them more of them in there. That's also good if you're lating around, you want to kind of switch his unit around. Maybe you have him at the start of the map and you want to move him to the back of the map. So he's very easy to place, so you won't have any problem with that. You can see things are trying to stun him because you're seeing his health bar show up, but for the most part I really didn't have any issue with him getting stunned. He does have a shield of 20, but I really didn't notice many of them being stunned or taken out for very long, so it's definitely great that he does have a shield of 20. I'm already around 124 with him, so he is doing a pretty solid job. And one of the things that you can see is every once in a while one of the attacking toilets will turn yellow. So whenever he stuns an attacking toilet, it will turn golden and it will be stunned for a few seconds, roughly 5. I think this will be a stun time of 5. So I'm going to start selling off some of my farming units right now. So he's one of the few things that, other than like some of the other units where I tested where I got kind of killed off or lost the match a little bit early, I'm actually was able to sell all 5 of the starter units I placed. So I had placed 3 Santa TV Man and I placed 2 of the Titan Printer Man as farming units to get me in-game money in order to place units. So it looks like I'm actually going to be able to sell all of them off. So now I'm getting to the end. I'm going to skip fast forward. I'm currently on round 137. Obviously, I'm not going to get full credit for 137 because I haven't cleared that many. But so far, he's been pretty much by far the best toilet that I've used, the best unit that I've used so far. It looks like he's about to cross the finish line, and there it is. So 126 waves beaten with the Golden Skibidi. So far, clearly the best unit so far. Still have the Samurai unit to test. The Samurai Cameraman's the brand new unit in the game, or at least the most recent, depending on when you're watching this video. But overall, I thought that Golden Skibidi did a pretty solid job. Got me, like I said, round 129 when that was the only toilet you had out there. It's actually pretty decent, pretty far to kind of make it in the map. So I'm definitely happy with kind of how well that one gets. So now we'll try my final unit. It's going to be the Samurai Cameraman. He does 195,000 damage. He has a cooldown of 1. So I'm not a big fan of units that have cooldowns of 1. That basically means he attacks once every second. I kind of like units that attack more often than that. Again, I'm going in with a Santa. He also has a very high starting unit. So this time I brought in the Skeleton to kind of be my starter unit. He is going to cost 4,000 in-game currency to place. That's going to take a while just to get the first one down. So that is definitely one of the issues with the Samurai Cameraman, is his high cost to just get him initially placed. So I'll put, as usual, I'll put my Skeleton Cameraman way down at the beginning. I actually like this unit. It's a reasonably cheap unit to get. He came with one of the Halloween crates. It was like 95%, and like I said, he does stun too. So a decent starter unit if you're looking for a starter unit. But now let's try to place him. Placement overhauls. He's a very small unit. Going to be very easy to place. One of the things you have to keep in mind is he's got that sword he's kind of pointing and sticking out, and that does count as like his hitbox area. So as you're trying to place him, it's not just the size of the actual unit itself. You also have to factor in the sword that he's carrying. So wow, so far we'll skip kind of to the end right here. You can kind of see where I placed him. He does jump. He's one of those units where he doesn't stay in a spot. He jumps and attacks, and it looks like I'm around 105. It's going to be interesting to see what I get credit. I'm about to lose with him. A couple more toilets. Well, he's actually doing a pretty good job. He's kind of clearing them pretty quick. Again, you can see him kind of jumping in the background right there, so he doesn't stay in one spot. That can be a bit tricky when you're trying to actually upgrade him, because he jumps around. He's kind of, a couple times it was kind of hard to upgrade him because he was jumping around on the screen, and I had to click on him before he jumped, or when he was in like in a pause mode, or actually catch him when he was attacking. I'll get one more here, so I'll delete one of my farm units, try to squeeze one more in before I end up just losing this match. Ooh, that last one I just placed in kind of bought me maybe an extra round. We'll have to see. But overall, I don't know, he's kind of like a mid unit. I'm on 110. It's going to be interesting to see what I get credit for waves cleared. He got a decent wave there. We'll see. That's it. So 99 waves. So not super great, not nearly as bad as the boss toilet 5.0. I think was by far the worst. But again, he's one of the things where, I mean, he was just one of those weird kind of toilets to have out there. I didn't really have any issue, a lot of issue with him being stunned. I think a couple times he got stunned. He only has a shield of 15. So now let's take a look at the breakdown of how I feel it went. Overall, I rated the Golden Skibidi as number 1. The odd part of that was he has the least amount of damage per second at only 150,000. But again, what made him really good was kind of some of his special abilities. He does splash damage, where some of the other ones are single unit attack. He does both slowing and stun. Every time he stuns, you'll see that he'll turn an attacking unit into a golden, and it will pause there for 5 seconds. And on top of that, he's also slowing every unit 60%. So he actually did really well. The Titan Centurion Speakerman also got the round 117. That was pretty good. The Juggernaut TV Man gave me 108. The top 3 units, I would say, are, if you're interested in getting a unit, actually aren't that bad. I've used all of them in the past. Wasn't really thrilled at all with the Boss Toilet 5.0 or the Samurai Cameraman. I thought they didn't get me very far. They had, in the case of the Samurai, he was 4,000 in just place. He did get actually stunned a couple times by the attacking units, which means he wasn't doing anything. And then the Boss Toilet was just a disappointment. He didn't get me very far. So that's my overall review of the shiny units of each of these versions. If you're wondering how like a non-shiny uni version would go, obviously it's not going to get you as many rounds cleared. But again, I think you get the same general ranking if you use the non-shiny. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you'd like me to do more of these videos, please comment below. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe.